him in the name of the Almighty, the most beneficent, the most merciful. I would say, first of all, that the commission, it's a bit late. This should have been done decades ago. So many of the perpetrators are dead, and dead men don't speak. Anyway, now, I will start, first of all, a bit of a colonial time, when we had the first universal suffrage election, and Mr. Green in front of me was elected for Victoria South, if I may pass the paper. You remember that? And my father, Suleman Adam, and Gustave de Comamo were nominated members. That was in the colonial time. Oh, I was going to say that, you said it. You got the same age. I will start now with the hatred that Rene had on our family. You see? When he came here as a young lawyer, he took a car from us. That time, we were more or less doing the business what STC is doing, ordering in bulk and selling. And we were ordering cars also, Hillman cars from Roots Groups. And the car, a brand new car at that time, cost about 5,000 rupees. So he took a car from us, agreed to pay by installment. He gave the 500 rupees, the first installment, and he never paid again.
Who was that, sorry?
Mr. Rene.
Mr. Rene.
Yeah, Mr. Albert
And
Rene.
what year was this?
Towards the end of the 60s, I think.
Okay.
Before, maybe Mr. Green might help me to remember.
You're talking of when he first came back as a lawyer.
He came in 58, I think, no? So the car must have been taken in the 60s.
And then he went away to study economics, and he came back in 64. Which period was it? The first time, or
I think it's the second time. Second time when he came back. Yeah, you could be right there. So he took the car from us and he never paid. So my father was a man who was never scared of him. He took him to court. And the court gave the decision to seize the car. And if I remember well, it was my cousin, Hassan, who went with the usher to confiscate the car. That could have been the first hatred. Secondly, they had a newspaper called The People. The People, which is still now existing. So in The People, they wrote an article that Adam Musa was sucking the blood of the poor or something like that. Again, my father took him to court. And I think Rifnel Zimo and Zakodul were the editors, co-editors. And then he had to apologize in the next issue. That, okay, we are sorry about that. So that built up the hate, you know, for Adam Musa and the family. You know,
And that, can I just, so that comment was made in that paper because you had a successful business?
something like that, you know, something like that. referring us as capitalists or something like that, you know. So, and then, you know, he formed the SPUP, and Manjam formed the Democratic Party, Social Democratic Party. And I joined him, Mankam, at that time. And just like that, you know, Seychelles was still under the British colony. I was friendly with Mr. Rene. He used to tease me, I used to tease him. Until the 13th of February 1972. When a bomb exploded between Denji brothers and Ada Musa. The next day, when I passed next to the office where the museum was, now it's given back to the Hassan Ali family, he talked to me, I didn't answer. And since that day, I never spoke to him. Now, about the bomb. You see, we were selling petrol on the corner of the shop because I think Shell was existing, but we were selling petrol. We were ordering petrol by drums from Caltex, and we were selling petrol on a pump. And he knew about that. There was a petrol stored there at the shop. And this is where the bomb exploded. But fortunately, he had a person cleaning his office on that. He overheard something about this, something going to, he didn't know what was it. He heard that they're going to do something to the Ada Musa. Now this man, he was also cleaning the new cars when it comes, before we deliver the client. So he came and he told my uncle, Hassan Ali's Hassan. I call him Hassan because I know him as Hassan. They call him Hassan Ali because his business was Hassan Ali. He told Hassan's father that, you know, remove the petrol from there. I didn't know anything about that because on that day, I was a cricketer. I was playing cricket. I didn't know. I didn't come to the shop that day. So my brother, elder brother, took out all the petrol. They sold it at Les Sentiers, where we sold to Cable and Wireless, Les Sentiers building. So, but one thing, you see, during Rene's time, I was sleeping on top of the shop with one of our worker, Indian worker. He was on the left-hand side of the, well, right-hand side, next to the NG brothers. And there was 2 rooms between us, and I was sleeping on the last room, the right hand, next to the museum. So when I came back from cricket, my elder brother told me, you know, I didn't know they removed the petrol from there. Just he told me to be careful tonight, be vigilant. Now, you know, I played cricket for whole day. I was tired. And I usually write the article for The Nation the next day. And I sat down and started writing. But about 11 o'clock, I fell asleep, you know, sleeping. And, you know, in front of the shop, we had these raffia shutters, you know. And in between, you can see on the road. So usually, before I go to sleep, I lit a cigarette, go there and smoke. I could have seen who put the bomb. But around 11:30, I went to sleep. And I remember exactly around midnight, either before 5 minutes or after. You know, being tired, I felt asleep straight away. I heard, you know, in my sleep, I heard a noise, you know, like a bomb blast, boom. So, got up. I could smell the smell of ammunition. My worker who was on the left-hand side, he came around, knocked on my door. He says, you know, something blew. I told him, take it easy. Let me handle it. You don't come down. I went down, right, with a little torch. Now, if there was another one, I would have been a dead man today. Went there alone. I was the first one to get there. Got there, I saw all the debris and everything. And then one person is now working for a travel agent. He was a policeman, Bizu. I forgot his first name. He came. I told him, I said, have you got a fire extinguisher? He said, at the police station. I said, go and get it. I was alone all this time. Then my father came. In fact, I think Bruce Grace-Bass was the governor. If I remember, he also came down. Mankam came. Then a car stopped. He said, another one was blown at the Reef Hotel. The same night, about 20 minutes or afterwards. Another bomb has been blown at the Reef Hotel. So this is a bit of the hatred that started, you see. Then, that was in the bombs were 72, 73, you know, and there were a few more, you know, you cannot recall, like it's a long time ago, so. Then came the student demonstration. You can keep this, I don't want to. So, during that demonstration, I had two daughters in school. One was 15 or one was 13 or something like that. Somebody came to tell me, the students are breaking the gate of State House and your daughters are there. Immediately I went there to try and get my daughter out. So, like I said, you know, I won't come here and give he, say, or rumors, but what I heard is that some person were recording the names of these people who were coming there, thinking that we were helping the children, right, with water or things. So, that went through. 2 or 3 days after that, they had a demonstration to support the government, right? So, when they came to, you know, the moment we heard that, we closed the shop, right? I was upstairs. So the crowd came to the shop and they knocked on the door. My brother didn't know. He opened the door. Where's Ayub? He says, call him, we want to speak to him. He shouldn't have done that anyway. He did it, you know. So I came out. Kesley Saint-Ange, the brother of Ale Saint-Ange, elder brother, and Chandrakant Meji, who is dead now, rest in peace. They told me that, come with us. Albert Rene wants to see you. How could you resist a crowd? So they dragged me up to State House. In the meantime, they dragged a few more. Mr. Oliadji was also taken from Temulji's. But fortunately, James Pillay, the commissioner, saw it. So he came and told them to release him. But I was unlucky, so I went to State House. Went to State House there. I met Alain Saint-Ange. He asked me, hey, you here? I said, yeah. Ask your brother. Anyway, went and stood in front of Rene. Crowd behind me. Rene made his speech, about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. All the time I was in the sun, standing. And they forced a flag on me, by the way, one of these Second Republic, coup d'etat, after the coup d'etat flag. So So anyway, after that, radio station was still on when he finished his speech. So I asked him, I said, give me the micro. I'll ask the crowd what I've done to them. And he told me, Banla Bezu means is I'll translate for you. This crowd is going to kill you or beat you. So then Zeva and Sylvette Fuiso was on the stage. Ferrari was on the stage also. I don't remember if Michael was there at that time, or you had left at that time, no? So Zeva, Rene, and Sylvette talked in his ears. He told Philippe Lica, who came here, he was take this guy, take him to the back door and take him home. You see? When I got home, there were tears in the eyes of my father. Because he thought they would take me like Hassan Ali, But I was lucky. I have a lot of faith, And also, like I said, I have patience. Even the commission came late, but at least it came. Better late than never. And the bishop will confirm that. In Christianity, my name, Ayub, like Jacob is Jakub, my name is Zob. And Zob, when he had all this disease on him, he asked the Lord, why am I suffering? He told him, have patience. And he lived 140 years. Right? Because in the Quran, there's the Old Testament and the New Testament. So anyway, I had patience. I would never thought that a commission will come where I can say my story, you see. Like I said, this is my, I got more to tell you, but this is mine. When the Hassan comes, then I'll come and talk and, talk about what I know about what happened. Anyway, so on 16 November 1979, the next day after Mr. Cha was arrested, I was arrested. That's the detention order. You cannot say it's fake because it's still the same. And at the back you will see the list of the detainees, 1979. I was put at Unionville prison together with all these other detainees. There were 81 of us because the list was made by me. And how I did that, we were allowed novels in prison. So in one of the novels, I wrote a few names, next page, few names. When I got out, I managed to put all of them together. And this is a true list which was up there. If somebody says 100, this was the true list. 81, 6 women, 75 men. And we were guarded by 75 army fellows outside, all around the prison. The food was hopeless, Same thing, we are given light tea in the morning, maybe with a biscuit or piece of bread, and lunch, fried fish, poisson frit and bouillon. Same thing at night. Anyway, if we go to that. So when I was released, I lost 7 kilos. Luckily, Dr. Patel, I think he's still living, anyway. Dr. Patel used to come and visit us at the prison. So every time you go to see doctor, one army guy comes with you. So luckily, I spoke Gujarati, and he spoke Gujarati with the same tongue. So I told him in Gujarati, that, you have to do something, give me some milk or something else. So immediately the army said, what are you saying? I said, no, I'm asking, how are you, how are things? He didn't know, so he ordered some milk for me, to get some milk every day. So that survived me a bit, because the food, I could hardly eat. You are hungry, you eat what they give you. Anyway, that was my first arrest. A few years after that, again for the leaflets. I don't know, they call that seditious paper, right? Today, when I carry on, you will see, today I can write a paper and go outside and call somebody a tyrant, a murderer. I don't get arrested. So anyway, the second time, it was in October 1986, because of a paper again. One thing, before I carry on, I want to clear something, which when I was interviewed on TRNUC, I said, my second arrest was not complete responsible of the president. Though he must have liked it, but it was from the police officers. 4 of them came to search my home. My mother-in-law had picked up one of these papers, seditious paper. He brought it home, Everybody was inquisitive about this paper. So I left it in a drawer. They found that paper. How could I say it's for my mother-in-law? I took the blame on myself. I said, okay, it's mine. Okay, you have to come down to the police station. In the meantime, they searched my home. They had a book. A book which I got from Jim Mankam when I met him in exile. It was about some island investment in the Pacific. If you buy a book, you buy a share on this island. They took that also. My typewriter, small typewriter, few cassettes. So they did good. And I'll just finish on that before I carry on. When I was released, I went back for my stuff. That book I never saw. They took that because they saw it in it. So I don't know whether policemen also are thieves. Anyway, so after 2 days, I think, I see my daughter coming to the cell. They arrested her too. Would I make me talk? Anyway, like I said, I won't mention names, but in me, I know them. They know, they are listening maybe. They could hear me saying. If I'm wrong, they will come in front of you and say no. So, I arrested my daughter, and today, all of them has been kicked out of the force. Like we say in Creole, Mako imo darasen. Mackerel dies in the net. You see? Never realized they would be kicked out. And if it was me the first day, when they arrested me, I would have kicked him out because he was not doing his duty anyway. So, now, I stayed there in the police with my daughter for about 2-3 weeks. And then, how to get out, with my daughter especially. So, they took me to court. My lawyer was Bernard's horse, possessing of seditious paper. So, first of all, I was not allowed to see anybody until they took me to court. Then I was given a lawyer. So I took Bernard's horse. Bernard was in front of you. He's listening. He will confirm that. So Bernard told me, the Suleman's boys were caught distributing the paper from the back of a car or something like that. And they were released on probation. So why don't you say you are guilty? At least they will release you and your daughter. Out of my dislike, but I said, okay, paper is mine, or something like that, So they released my daughter, but they kept me inside. I think Justice Seaton or something was there. So I went back to the police station for a week or something like that. Then they sent me to Long Island, the prison at Long Island. You see, one thing which Rene did to try and shut the people, either they put them inside or they send them in exile. But some people who's gone to exile, they benefited. For example, like Hassan Ali's sons, they've got big business in now. They went through the hard way, but at least God helped them, and they become a thing. And on my part, while I was in prison, I was a political prisoner. First few days I didn't eat the prisoner's food. So, as a Muslim, I used to fast. I know what is not eating. So for 3 days I didn't eat. Not that, underhand, I was giving something to keep me going. So I didn't eat. John Mascarenas, who used to play cricket with me, so he heard about it. He was, I think, PS or somewhere in the Ministry of Social. He came to see me. He came all the way to Long Island to see me. What happened, my friend? You don't eating? I said, no, I'm not eating. I'm not eating. I'm a political prisoner. Amnesty knows, because Ben has already informed Amnesty. Paul Chow was in England. He also informed Amnesty. I say, I'm not going to eat your food. Either you give me my food, can your family bring? I said, don't worry. One thing I learned how to cook. Chapatis, curry and all these things. Biryani. So I said, all right. He said, then what do you want us to do? I said, you give me. I'll ask what I want. You give me. He said, okay, agreed. So I put chicken, fish we were getting there, rice we were getting, eggs sometimes they bring. So they were supplying me this thing. Until a few months before they were going to release me, I think Dogle was there, the superintendent of prison. He sent one of his sergeant, go and tell him from today you cannot get anything from outside. He must have taken it on himself. So I was forced to try and eat that food, but I didn't last long. I think 2 weeks after they released me. So while I was there, you see, I don't know whether I could mention that, but anyway, it should, because this is all in my thing. One night, I didn't want to sit. They offered me a private cell. I didn't want, because I thought, they could say anything, and I would have been gone, So I didn't even sleep in the cell. There was a veranda outside. So there was a couple of friends who I knew, again on political this thing. Roy Dias was one. John Booth was the other one. So Pooja Dias died anyway. So I slept together outside on the veranda. There was a little veranda that we slept there. One night, the sergeant in charge woke me up around midnight. I think it was Sergeant Denus, but I heard he's there also. You see, the commission came when so many things died, So he told me, somebody want to see you. I say, who? Again, he mentioned the name of the person, but he's dead. So he cannot come and say, it's not true. So I won't mention his name. So I woke up Roy Dias, and a couple of days I said, look, so-and-so want to come and see me. I said, come with me. So they all came. We were outside. Nobody. He must have heard, or he must have seen witnesses coming. I could have gone, But like I say, you know, I've got big faith, and God protects me. Because this is the Quran I took to Long Island. It's dated 18 December 86. My nephew, who is a PhD in Islamic studies, he brought me that Quran when I was on the island. And they were scared when I was reading the Quran, you know. I could feel it. So anyway, and then, there what I say, I met somebody. He asked me, one of the prisoners, "Are you related to Hassan Ali?" I said, "Yes, he's my cousin." He told me, like I said, you know, unless he's listening, he will come forward himself and tell us what he told me. Because I don't want to go on rumors or he said. He told me I was at L'exil as a commando the night when Hassan disappeared. I saw what I will tell you. And he told me a few things. I cannot prove that. Even my nephews have been asking me, "Uncle, tell me what you know." I said, "I cannot prove. Unless I take a hoe and a spade and I trespass on somebody's property and find out his remains." But that I will talk when I come to the Sepe Kwasenali. You see? Because I've always asked God. Hassan used to give bath to the body before burial. We call that ghusl. Before janaza is the burial. So I asked God, I said, one day, even his remains, we will give him the ghusl and the janaza, a proper Muslim burial. He will listen to me. So, when they released me, that time I was scared. Because somebody, you see, all these people have died now, you see. He warned me, he said, you better get out of Seychelles. Because you are marked. So, I left. I went to Mauritius. You know, because Mauritius, my grandfather, the Musa, when he left India in 1900, he went to Mauritius. I would have been a Mauritian today. But after 3 months, he met somebody from Seychelles, Merwanji, now Temulji. He asked him to come with him, and he came here, I think in June 1900. So I went to Mauritius, looked at Mauritius, man. That time, I was 87. Mauritius was, you know, now you look at Mauritius, it's developed, you know, flyovers and all these things. So after a week, I decided to go to England. I went to England, met Jimmy Mancam, told him my story. Of course, he knew, but told him my story. Then he told me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't want to go to Seychelles." I said, "I'll go to Mauritius." He told me, "Okay." Take a pen and paper. He wrote a letter. He told me, you know, Sir Gaitan Jival was the Deputy Prime Minister of Mauritius. I've still got his photo with me, kept it as a souvenir. He was a great man. So he told me, bring this letter to him. I don't know what was in that letter. So then I came back to Mauritius. No, just before I came back to Mauritius, I went. From there I went to India, and I was lucky I could see Kashmir. Now it's difficult to go to Kashmir. Such a beautiful place. So I stayed there for about a week, and then I came back to Mauritius. I went to see Sir Gaita, gave him the letter. He told me, "My friend, don't worry. My friend has written to protect you in Mauritius. I will protect you." I said, no, don't worry. You get in touch with me every day, tell me what is happening. So that's why I invested in Mauritius for about 2 years, 3 years. I came back when multi-party came back, 1991 as well, you know, when Mr. Mancham came. Mr. Mancham came to Mauritius, we met him there, we arranged everything, and then we came to back to Seychelles. For the time being, I'll stop there. And later on, you know, minds are getting old also. If I remember anything, I'll tell you. But myself and Hassan were the two politicians in the family. After the 1974 election, SPUP, because, you know, they never accepted losing the election. So they were burning Seychelles. Fire everywhere. Balede, me also. Myself and Hassan, we used to come down to the police station and help the police because the police were tired. We used to help them. I got a few people who used to come and help to find out who is putting the fire. So, you know, so you see, that's why the grudge was against myself and Hassan. You know, my father, of course, was getting old, you know, but still. So I leave it up to you now.
Thank you very much for your evidence. So, you know, primarily I think the difficulty started with your father when he didn't pay back for the car, and then he took him to court, and then from there it sort of seemed to different political views caused a lot of problems for you and your family. With respect to the bomb in the shop, did they ever charge anyone with that? Did they ever investigate and find who had put the bomb in the shop?
Yes, there is a case.
Is it Guy Paul case? I thought he was...
No, there's a case. You see, they started with a Rifotel bomb, Gipul. Of course, Gipul mentioned Alberini, but then he brought Kapila from Kenya to defend him and everything. And, you know, that was in the British time, you know. And you know British democracy is too very lenient. So, and then they caught a person, Mote. But my views, they got the wrong Mote. But Gipul was the one who gave all evidence. There's a case. If you go to court, you will find that case. You know, bomb case of Reef Hotel.
In the Reef Hotel, but I didn't realize that was included in that case.
Same night.
Two different accused
Location,
persons. Yeah. Okay.
And if I may say something, you see, my concern was with Alberini. You know, his predecessors haven't done anything to me. Okay? And today, I am free, I go where I want, I do what I want, nobody bothers me.
But that case, was there any link with Renee in that case?
Which one?
The one with the petrol bomb, the bomb at your shop.
Well, they mentioned that, you see. They mentioned this thing, you see. But like I told you, maybe they got the wrong person. But it was done at the same time, you know.
Are you saying that the link that you're making with Mr. Rene was through the cleaner who cleaned his office and then warned Mr. Umaji?
Yes, Gully Boy, you know him very well. Gully Boy, he's dead now.
Bon après-midi, Monsieur Adam. You shared with us that you also participated in the writing of leaflets.
No.
No.
No. Both leaflets I picked up. I had nothing to do with the writing.
You have nothing to
Nothing
write?
to do with writing. I could have supported the paper, but never got involved in writing it.
Uh-huh.
You see?
Okay.
But did you distribute them?
No.
No.
Never
Well, how were
distributed.
they connected to you?
They found it at my place. I picked it up.
You picked it
see,
up,
it
okay.
was all over the road. Everybody, you know.
And you did plead guilty when it came to the court
To-
on the
to-
legal advice.
Yeah, to legal advice of that. He told me, they'll release you, because you don't know how long you're going to be there. Maybe, they'll give you probation, because they had done that before to the Sullivans.
And how long did you stay in prison that time?
6 months.
6 months.
I was released in May, I think. So that.
Did you say Sullivans or Suleman?
Sullivan, I think. Sullivan, the Sullivan of Bovalo, I think, or something like that. I could have been, anyway. Ben, I would know better about that,
And that night, when you were woken up at 12 o'clock and said that there was someone that wanted to see you, did you know the person?
Yeah, I know
You
him.
knew the person.
I knew the person.
But it was a person that you...
He was an army person.
An army person. So you knew not to go alone.
Sure. Anybody who come see me at that time, I wouldn't go
Yeah.
alone. Could have sent a civilian also.
Yeah. I mean, it was lucky you could go with the other two
My faith,
people.
very strong that.
And did you ever say anything to the sergeant about that? I mean, were you then fearful from that moment on that at any time that somebody could be asked to see you and you might not be so lucky?
No, but I don't think at that time it struck me, because after he was not there. Then it happened. But we had a few chat with the sergeant. I had a few chat with the sergeant because I believe he was opposition. We had a few chat over other things.
Two names I'd like from you. One of the sergeant on Long.
Denus, but he died.
Yeah.
Denus, but he died some years ago.
And the Bonte who was arrested for the Musa bomb.
Harry Bonte was arrested.
Monsieur Yacoub, bon après-midi.
Ayub, je t'appelle moi Yacoub.
Ayub, Suleman. Bon après-midi. Eh bien, j'entends bien ça que vous dites dans le temps. Moi, si je bien correct, c'est une question d'idéologie, ça le temps. Aux familles, marchandes, capitalistes. Et M. le type essaie d'établir un système socialiste.
It's the Greek, how we will get confused, I think.
Si je prends une doctrine, un débat doctrinal, je peux dire OK, qu'il y a une grande opposition entre aux familles avec vision politique, M. René.
Monsieur René, tu as un grudge against ban marsan. Parce que tu marsan, tu peux support man kam. Comment? Tu peux donner l'argent man kam, That was his grudge against all the merchants, the capitalists, even the landowners. But some landowners got away with it. The Albers, who was a supporter of René. Bagalo was a supporter of René. They didn't get away. But some got caught. Deltail got caught. They took his property and gone police. So, you see, René had a mind of his own. You see, like I've heard before, what he wants to do it, he'll do it. Nobody can stop him. You see, anyway.
So you left Seychelles pretty much because you were told to leave, that you were marked. And to be marked, does it mean you're marked?
You see, because of the things that is happening at that time, you see, even somebody come tell you this is red, this is blue. Whatever they tell you, you have to believe them because of the fear. Whether it's true or not. But it's better, prevention is better than cure. So it's better that you get out of,
And when you came back, you felt completely fine then? It's safe?
Not at
no?
that moment. Not at that moment, because Rene was still in power, you see. Not at that moment. But eventually, you see, now today you are talking about reconciliation. Mankam came with that. That's the first thing he said when he came, because people thought he will come here and say, okay, like I forgot to say, before the bomb, Rene made a speech. I don't know what it was, Esplanade or at the Freedom Square. He said, the war is on. He was questioned about that in the bomb case, you see. So, Mankam could have told you, okay, the war is on, but there would have been bloodshed. He was not a person like that. You see?
When you came back with Mankam in 1991, did you get back into...
No, 92 he came, yeah.
92. Did you get back into politics again?
I was always a politician.
Okay.
You see? I was always a politician.
So you kept on working close to him?
Not working with him, but very close friend of him, We used to have, whenever he had meeting, I was in the DP, Democratic Party Committee. So wherever we had this thing, I was with him.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard some evidence from people that think that their phones were bugged and they were spied on by the People's Militia. Was that any part of your experience?
I think I will talk on that when I come to Hassan Ali's case.
Concerning the bombing of a shop, now with information, would you have any information guiding us to the one who gave the order to bomb your shop?
I cannot confirm who gave the order, but if you go to the happenings, to the court cases and all these things, it all referred to Albert Rene. Gipul mentioned that he gave me the bomb. I don't know whether Hari Bonte mentioned that, but it's a long time ago. So, but if you go to the court cases, you will see, if you find the cases, you will see what he mentioned in there, what they mentioned. Okay? 1972, but they didn't. It was not immediately arrested. What happened is that the bomb, after some time, Gipul's brother-in-law, Amit, who went to report that to the police, and this is where the case started.
There seems to be a discrepancy there, because the Reef Hotel was only opened in March 72, and I was working there. The bomb incident was a while later.
You see, that's a bit confusing. You're right there, but still, you see, I think I saw that date somewhere, 1972, or maybe I could be sick. But anyway, they both happened together. But if you go to the court cases, in that you will see exactly when the case started. They will mention everything in there. I mean, this is the evidence where you can find the truth for the bombs. But I only remember the date because the next day of the bomb I never spoke to Rene again. 72.
And he tried to speak to you?
No, he
No,
never used to
no,
speak to
just
me.
that was it. It was
No,
over.
that was it.
Yeah.
He must, well, I don't know whether it's the guilty conscience or something like that, but he never bothered about speaking to me again. You know. You see, there was a guy, we would know, there was a guy next to him who had a curio shop, Henri Poul. So I became friendly to Henri Poul because I was a good friend of Henri Poul. So Henri Poul used to tease me every time. So he also joined in, you know. We had no grudge against each other at that time, you know.
For those who don't, who are not aware or who have no idea of the geography of the place, your parents were living at Le Chantier, where there's that vacant lot now next to the plaza,
Correct.
and Cable and Wireless on the other side. There was a big building there,
Mm.
and your parents were living there. Your shop was on the north side of where the SPUP office was.
Correct.
So every morning you would walk from Le Chantier in front of the office to the shop.
The other way around. Because I was sleeping at the top of the shop.
You'd walk from the
From the shop to the Chantier.
Chantier.
That's where I passed Rene on the way
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You see?
I mean, given all that you've been through, you seem surprisingly like reconciled with everything and at peace, you know, with yourself. And I suppose, is that your faith gave you that strength?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we are talking about reconciliation. You see? To forgive. To forgive whom? Those that I want to forgive the dead. You see? Of course, you know, in my prayers I always forgive everybody. That's the faith I have. You see? Whether it's my enemy or my friend, I pray for them.
And so you have those that sort of created this, you know, system, this regime, and then you had those that just implemented, you know, they were not making decisions, but implementing decisions that were made because of their, you know, their political belief in the regime, perhaps, you know. You don't, some of them are still alive, you don't hold them responsible. You don't feel they bear a responsibility?
Well, I say that the one who I hold responsibility are dead. Those that are here at the moment, and you know, I would say that on that view, you know, with all due respect, I hope Mr. Green will come one day in my place and explain that to you. What René's was, anyway, he left, but still, like Ferrari, he would come one day in here before this thing ends, and he'll tell you his views. With all due respect. And one thing I want to mention, Mr. Green will know that. I had a brother who committed suicide, younger brother. We didn't know after he died. René indoctrinated him with Karl Marx's book. He was going to the office without knowing. My father was very strict. You know, he knew René was using him. He didn't know it. René was using him. And he indoctrinated with Karl Marx. You know, Karl Marx, if you follow Karl Marx, you know, you can easily do things that you don't expect to do. And my father was not in Seychelles at that time. And he must have realized that people will die my father. So one day he committed suicide.
That's very sad. How old was he?
He was 18 at that time.
18. No, terrible.
Like I said, whoever is guilty, we are not the judge. The Almighty will judge. Amen.
I suppose from our perspective, what we want is, people that bear some responsibility for these human rights violations to take that responsibility. Because this, that's the process of reconciliation is two parties. That's the difficulty we have, I think.
I've been listening to your closing thing. You have asked these perpetrators to come forward. Come forward and tell us your point of view. If I'm lying, tell me. You see, like you say, it's a two-party. Okay, you made your mistake. You were not responsible. Albert gave you instruction, but come and tell us. Clean your heart. Come and tell us the truth. And then we will reconcile. But unfortunately, maybe you don't know Seychelles too much. You won't get many people who will come forward here. And if they come, they lie. Because I've seen.
Well, it's early days. We're hoping they
I've
will
seen.
still
It's
come.
better they don't come, they're going to lie. If you come, tell the truth.
But why do you think they wouldn't come forward?
You see, maybe they're scared like I was scared against the opposition. Because now maybe they think, if you're not guilty, God knows you're not guilty, you come forward and say, look, I am sorry I didn't do it, I was ordered to do it, whatever it is, tell us, let us know. Then we can forgive. I won't forgive, I don't know what happened.
I mean, it seems like for many people there was a climate of fear, So, there was a climate of fear for those that were not supporting the regime. But people that were supporting the regime, we've heard evidence that they seemed to know what they had to do, to please, whoever, the people that were at the top. They had to do these things to please, and I'm sure they would have observed what was happening to those who didn't conform.
Exactly.
So fear would have also been part of their motivation.
For example, I've heard a few things. Blame Alberini, he's dead now. He cannot answer, and you get away with it.
But they don't need to blame anyone who's not responsible. The commission is set up whereby they can get an amnesty if they make full, frank disclosure and they show genuine regret. Then they get an amnesty. Nobody can take them anywhere after that.
Yeah, I agree with you. You misunderstood me.
No, I'm saying if they don't want to blame somebody, just come and say the truth. That's all they have to do.
Yeah, again, I said you misunderstood me. What I wanted to say is that, look, you can come and speak lie here and blame Alberini. Could be a lie. You get me now? Not necessarily it must be true. But they can come here and put the blame on him. That's the end of the story. We will hear more like that, as time goes. They could be lying. At least they said it, because dead men don't talk.
I suppose, for complainants to know what happened, especially when we're talking with disappearance cases and things, to know what happened and to have somebody who knows confirm that, I think is a very powerful contribution to make to rebuilding this nation.
What is most important, I think, when the case of Hassan Ali comes up, the person who told me that, he left Seychelles after that. He was imprisoned for drug possession. And he hated that because I think they didn't give him an amnesty or something like that. Or they sent him to prison. That hate was in him. That's why he told me that. I never knew this fellow. You see? So the thing is that if he's listening, because I saw him from 4 years ago. He came to Seychelles from 4 years ago, but I don't know whether he's here. You see? If he's listening to me, come forward, support me and let him tell you. And then we can do the rest. You see? Like I say, I don't want to go on my own to do this thing, but we are all waiting for the remains or whatever it is to give a proper Muslim burial.
Thank you so much for coming and telling us your story. And you seem to have a very good attitude. You seem quite reconciled already. So, I mean, I think I take my hat off to you that you have managed to come to a place where you seem very happy, even though you have this traumatic background behind you and lost members of your family during this regime. So thank you very much. We very much appreciate people like you coming forward and sharing your stories with us. It's very, very helpful for the work of the Commission, and I thank you.
And I tell you, my name is Job, so
Job.
I have all the patience.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, resilience. Thank you.
I'll come again when Hasan Ali comes.
Thank you.
You can call me anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
So before we adjourn, we are aware there have been concerns about the Commission going into closed session and the idea that the Commission is maybe hiding relevant information from the public. And Mr. Green is going to explain in Creole what closed session actually means. Thank you.
Pour tous nos bonnes auditeurs, je suis content pareil, Madame Chairperson, il dit, éclairci ça concerne qu'il y a une quantité de monde. Hier, même mon gars, je ne sais pas combien de téléphones, combien de messages. Du monde peut dire, ils ne sont pas contents de ce système, donne l'évidence à privé. Ce système donne l'évidence à privé. Il y a un système qui nous servit les gens qui peuvent donner l'évidence. Ils demandent nous pour lui donner l'évidence en privé. Par exemple, nous étions avec lui à cause qu'il lui donne l'évidence en privé. S'il y a quelque chose qui peut faire l'éditeur physiquement ou bien moralement, s'il y a quelque chose qui peut mettre son la vie en danger, ou bien mettre la vie de l'autre monde en danger, ou bien faire quelque chose qui a fait du monde perdre son place de travail, par exemple. Tout le monde quelque chose comme ça, nous considérer, et là, nous voyons qu'il y en a un mérite, nous accepter son demande pour ça quelque chose, quand il dit en privé. En privé, pas veut dire en secret. En privé, tout quelque chose, il y a encore peut recorder, audio il recordé, visuel il recordé. Ça, il reste record qui peut former partie rapport sa commission. Ça bonne l'information éventuellement pour le domaine public. Il pas pour gagner caché aucun part, il pour besoin dans le domaine public. À ce moment, le public a gagné l'opportunité de checker. Je crois qu'il y a quelque chose qui nous a besoin d'y aller à cause de notre curiosité naturelle. Nous contentons de ce qui peut passer, l'air peut passer sans aucun retard. Mais il y en a des laits, il y en a certaines quelque chose qui n'est pas capable de sortir aussitôt qu'il peut passer. À cause du monde, il y en a certains droits, et du monde, il y en a un droit pour lui répondre à l'accusation. Si l'accusation est faite contre lui, avant qu'il soit l'accusation est mise en public. Et c'est sa raison qu'il y en a certaines sessions qui nous passent en privé. Qui nous peut essayer de faire seulement pour l'avenir. C'est faire façon, quand ça demande, ça dit d'avance. Comme ça, nous connaissons pour dire il est par la privé. Il est embarrassant pour nous. Et là, moi, je suis content aussi de demander excuse SBC à cause là, nous mettons en session, nous donnons un programme. Et du monde arrive là, il dit nous, il est content à la privé. SBC, là, nous présents, nous besoin de décider si pour la privée ou bien non, ou téléspectateur koto, ou tu ne parles pas préciser pour écouter, la président il dit, il pas pour la télévision, nous pouvons essayer de faire une façon pour nous travailler là, pour nous éviter sa qualité quelque chose. Mais seulement, décision par la privée, il y a quelque chose qui nous pas capable de changer à cause du monde en droit, et il y en a certaines raisons qui demandaient qu'il y a du monde qui donne sur l'évidence en privé. Si par exemple, je donne un dernier exemple, et madame a violé, est-ce qu'il vous expectez pour préciser là en public pour raconter tout ça là en direct? Il a besoin d'un certain quelque chose qui a fait en privé. Et c'est pour ça raison que sa bonne session est passée en privé. Je remercie les autres pour votre compréhension et je respecte de continuer à suivre sa commission de sa bonne délibération. Merci.
And can I just add that a lot of the evidence heard in private session, we talk about it in public session when we talk to a public witness. So why you might not have seen the witness give the evidence, you know what the evidence is because you hear us putting that evidence to another public witness. Thank you. In most cases. Thank you. So that concludes our hearings for today. We will resume again at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And you have the schedule, Michael, no? You'd written it down. Okay, 9 o'clock we will start with a new case. I'll maybe get he's much more eloquent when he reads the names than I am.
Bon, demain bon matin, nous commençons 9h avec François Quilindo, 10h, Nonapé Sidingwol, 11h, Régis Payet, 1h après-midi, Alain Ernesta, 2h après-midi, Robert Ernesta, 3h30, Willy Confé. Ça nous donne du monde qui peut donner l'évidence demain. Nous n'avons pas aucune demande pour session privée demain. Respectez, restez comme ça même.
Sorry, we will now adjourn and resume 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thank you.
All rise.